I am bringing you a tag video that I was actually tagged in, which never seems to happen. So I was tagged by Chris Vigilante to do the This Book Tag is Full of Pride, which was originally created by The Irish Reader. So I'll link both those videos in the description. You should check them out because Book Tag Full of Pride. We need that in BookTube, obviously. So, the kind of gist of this tag is just recommend books that feature LGBTQ plus characters. So, I have a bunch. I have a lot more than I showed in my thumbnail, promise. And, I should add the caveat that most of these do feature gay characters. And that's just because when I was struggling with myself, we'll say, these were the books that, it was those kind of books that I read really went out for because they made me feel better. So let's get into it. I'll mention a couple of ebooks that I feel like everyone knows, but I'm going to say them anyway. So we have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, adorable story. Proxy and Guardian by Alex London is a fun duology featuring a gay main character, and the best thing about it is it's a dystopian. It's not just generic contemporary. And one I will want to mention as well is One Man Guy by Michael Barakiva. It's another fun contemporary featuring a male-male romance. And last ebook is Openly Straight by Bill Konigsberg. I don't want to give you plot details on them because I don't actually own them, so just know they're really good gay books mostly. So yeah, let's get into it. The first group of books I want to mention are books that feature gay or queer characters in the supporting cast as opposed to key cast members, let's say. So the first one I want to mention is the Modern Fairy Tale Trilogy by Holly Black. Holly Black actually has quite a few books that are got LGBT characters, and the second book, This Is Valiant, and then Ironside feature gay characters more heavily than the first one, Tithe. This is a group, it's like the first two are companions, and then the Ironside is a sequel to Valiant and Tithe. It's very confusing, but it's a very fun urban fantasy about a fairy world, and the main character in Tithe, we'll start there because that's the first book, Tithe kind of gets drawn into this thing after she saves a fairy. So, yeah, very fun trilogy. With this book and this third book have gay characters in them, so I thought I'd mention them. Next up we have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I didn't realise that actually one of the supporting characters in this book is gay. It is actually a plot point that comes up and is kind of important to Paige's story. The Bone Season is a dystopian paranormal world where people have developed psychic abilities, but psychic abilities are frowned upon by Scion, which is the thing that rules everything basically, and Paige, the main character, is one of these. She can walk in dreams, and she gets basically taken to prison, and it's a really cool story. And like I said, one of these supporting characters is gay, and I just like to mention it. I have the mime order to read still, so don't spoil me, but this one. Then we have The Girl at Midnight by Melissa Gray. This features a rather prominent gay secondary character and a bisexual tertiary character. This is an urban fantasy about a girl who gets caught in the middle of a war between the Avacyn and the Dracarin, which are dragon people and bird people, and it's really cool. It was a really cool first book. I haven't read the sequel, but the gay character is introduced in this one. He's quite prominent, so this one. And the last kind of background character I want to mention is the Gone series by Michael Grant. I haven't mentioned this in a very long time, but the Gone series actually features a prominent lesbian character. Her name is Decca, and she is one of the best things about this series. I'm not even joking. And there is also a very cute gay romance. So it has a gay character and a lesbian character. The Gone series follows a group of teenagers who get trapped in their town by a glass dome, and all the people over the age of 15 disappear. It's phenomenal. It's a sci-fi story. There's 6 books, and it's getting a sequel this year. And Decca's going to be in it, and we all love Decca, so Gone. Moving on to more kind of books that have LGBTQ plus characters in the forefront, we will start with the ones that are not... No, we'll start with the contemporary. We'll start with contemporary. We will start with the contemporary-ish pile that are mostly contemporary, but with some added themes, but yeah, you'll see. The first one I want to mention is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This is a spin-off from Fangirl. This features the main character Simon Snow, who is basically the world's worst chosen one. And there is a magic in this. It is based in a wizarding school. But let's be honest, everyone reads this for the relationship between Simon and Baz. That's what you read it for. Baz is his roommate who is a vampire. It's a really fun, fluffy story. It's not like it's a heavy fantasy, so I kind of class it as like fantasy light, more contemporary, so carry on. Next up we have one that I haven't even hauled yet, but I've read this week, and it's Noah Can't Even by Simon James Green. I think you need to go into this thinking it's a comedy, and I hope it's meant to be a comedy, because I thought it was hilarious, but it follows the main character Noah, who basically is really, really unpopular, and he comes up with this plan to become popular, and that is befriend Sophie, this really popular, really pretty girl. And that all kind of goes tits up when he's at a party and gets a little bit drunk and his best friend Harry kisses him. Cue questioning, and it's just beautiful. It's a really funny book, so this one. Next up we have 2 books by the same author, and if you know me, you knew these were going to make the list. So we have We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. We Are the Ants follows a boy who gets abducted by aliens, and they give him a choice whether or not he wants to save the world. And at the beginning of the book, he really isn't very sure if he wants to, because his boyfriend committed suicide the year before, his brother is a college dropout who gets his girlfriend pregnant, his nan is losing her memory to Alzheimer's, and it's a really depressing book. And honestly, this book is beautiful. It features Henry, the main character, who is gay, and obviously had an ex-boyfriend, and his main love interest is actually pan or bisexual. It's not explicitly stated, but it is kind of implied he's more pan, so that is added representation for this one. This book is majestic, and more people should read it. Following on, we have At the Edge of the Universe by Sean David Hutchinson. Features a main character named Ozzy, who basically his boyfriend vanishes, and he's the only one who remembers him, and it turns out the universe is getting smaller. It's really quirky, really interesting, and I adored it quite a lot. It's a really quirky story, and features a gay main character with a boyfriend, and it's just complicated, very complicated book. Love it very much. Sean David Hutchinson often writes about LGBT characters, because I believe he's gay. I think it's Own Voices. So these 2 are the 2 I own, and there's the 5 Stages of Andrew Boy, but I prefer these 2. So these are kind of contemporaries with a sci-fi twist, so sci-fi light. And the last book in this category is one that no one should be surprised about, and that is the Foxhole Court trilogy by Nora Sakovic, or the Wolf the Game trilogy. This follows the main character Neil, who is really talented at playing Exy, which is a fictional sport which Nora made up for this series, which I think is so incredible. And he basically joins this team called the Foxes because he has been on the run all of his life from his dad, and he kind of just goes, fuck it. It's really funny. And this features a prominent gay character in the first 2 books, and there's more gay characters introduced. And Neil, the main character, actually kind of identifies as demisexual. Nora has said in her blog that's what she intended. Well, unintentionally intended. She didn't know the word for it when she was writing it, but that's what she actually has decided, has put out there, that would be his sexuality. And I think that's a really cool representation. I love this series. It's very well known that I love this series. So, the Foxhole Court. Now we'll move on to the more fantastical kind of books with LGBT characters. The first of which I'm going to mention is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. This features a gay character and a bisexual character, I believe, and it follows a brother and sister. The brother is gay. No, they live in a town at the edge of a forest where a boy with horns sleeps in a glass coffin. And then the boy vanishes. And it's amazing, it's incredible, and I just wanted to recommend another Holly Black book because, like I said, she likes to include a fair amount of LGBT characters. So, The Darkest Part of the Forest. Then we have one that's possibly a bit more controversial and people don't seem to like it, and that is the Half Bad trilogy by Sally Green. The main character in this, Nathan, ends up identifying as bisexual and has a gay love interest. It follows a world where the witches are divided into black and white witches, and Nathan is half, and it's very frowned upon, and they go to war, basically. It is actually, I didn't like this first book very much, but the second and third books are among my favourite sequels of all time, and Half Lost, the last book, made me cry like a baby, because it's actually really interesting to see a main character who goes through such kind of coming out in a fantasy setting. It's not the main story, but it does happen. And also, it is the only series I know where the main character consummates a relationship with a male and a female. It's just really cool. I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people don't, but that's my opinion. Then we have The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater, because Ronan and Adam are amazing. And if you don't know what this is about, you don't need to, because this book, basically, you need to go in knowing that the characters will make you want to take care of them all. That's all you really need to know. And it's majestic, it's very well known, and features a gay and a bisexual character getting together, so that one. Next up, we have The Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan, which features Apollo as the main character, who is bisexual as fuck. Like, seriously, throughout this book, he often, like, mentions that that girl's attractive, and so is he. It's brilliant. Not only that, but this is middle grade, and I love to see that representation in middle grade. It also features side characters that are gay, that are introduced in Heroes of Olympus. Actually, one of them was introduced in Percy Jackson, but it didn't come out as gay until Heroes of Olympus, and you probably know who that is, but I'm going to pretend it's not a spoiler. But this I wanted to mention purely because it's middle grade, and I think that's very important to have this kind of representation at a young level. Following on from that, another Rick Riordan book that I definitely want to mention is actually the last book I have for this, and that is The Hammer of Thor, because this introduces a gender-fluid character to the world, and she/he, depending on what day she or he is on, they are on, or say they, it is very fluid, and it's constant throughout the book. Their gender is never fixed. Throughout the book it's changing. Not only that, but Magnus, the main character who is narrating the book, always changes the pronouns when appropriate, and it's just amazing. An amazing series, and this is the first kind of gender fluid / trans character that I've read, and I adore it. So, this one. I hope you enjoyed those recommendations. It was quite a few, but yeah, I'll have another video up soon, so goodbye.